and greetings, and it's coming to the end of this 2023 year, and as a lot of people do, I am going to be giving you my top 10 horrors of the year and my top 10 just movies generally. I will also give you my worst 10 movies and my worst 10 horrors. I know that's not a popular choice for a lot of people. They think it's negative. I'm just doing it as a little bit of fun, guys. I'm not a proper movie reviewer. I'm not saying these movies are terrible. I'm saying I didn't enjoy them. That's all, not that they're bad movies. So let's get kicked off first of all today with my top 10 horrors of 2023. Okay guys, we'll come in first of all with 4 honourable mentions. I'm not going to go into detail about plot with any of these. If you're watching this, you're a horror fan, or if you haven't seen the movies, you will know about them. There's no point in me telling you what they're about. So my honourable mentions are The Passenger, Mother May I, both with Kyle Gallner. He's an actor I'm really enjoying these days. He's doing a lot of horror. I find him really... he's a really honest, believable actor that when I watch him, I believe anything he plays. I don't see an actor, I see a character, which I love about him. Both the more drama-based horror movies, if you could even call them horrors, both a little unusual. If you haven't heard of them, check them out, The Passenger and Mother May I. The other two are one called Zom 100, which is a sort of like funny zombie movie on Netflix, which I really enjoyed, guys, and I haven't heard anyone else talk about it. And Unseen, which is a really interesting one about a girl that her eyesight is so bad she loses her glasses or her contacts. I've seen it so long ago I can't remember. And there's an unlikely number that she calls to try and help her escape someone that's trying to chase her through a wood. Really good movie, really good characters. I would thoroughly recommend you check it out, Unseen. So, into the top 10, guys. At number 10, I have Infinity Pool, which seems like forever ago. Obviously, this is Mia Goth, who can do no wrong, really, and Alexander Skarsgård. This is a bit of an odd one. It's not for everyone, but I really enjoyed this. I found it really different, really innovative. This one has amazing rewatch potential. You can watch it over and over and see something new, which is actually something that Nick from Horror Flicks with Nick said in his summing up top 10 of the year. This movie also meets his top 10. Infinity Pool, number 10. Number 9 is one that I don't hear anyone talk about. Maybe I just really enjoyed it. It's called Sister Death. It's on Netflix at the moment. This is based in a nunnery, a convent. I'll not tell you anything else about it. I believe it was a foreign language film. It's Spanish. Really interesting. I loved the story. I loved the characters. I really connected with the characters. And given that they're teaching young girls in this school, so there's quite a few kids in it, that's generally a recipe for disaster. The kids weren't really aggravating and annoying. I actually really enjoyed it. So check out Sister Death if you haven't as yet, and let me know what you thought of it. Number 8 is Knock at the Cabin. I love Shyamalan. I do know that his work maybe isn't as good these days as it was when he first started off. I am in the camp of really enjoying Old. I know it's not a popular one. To be honest, the only movie that Shyamalan has put out that I really did not like was The Happening. If he did The Last Airbender, that's floating about the back of my head. I didn't like that either. But everything else that he's done I've enjoyed, and I really liked Knock at the Cabin. It was very understated. It had a real moral dilemma that couldn't help but make you think. The performances in this, Dave Bautista was amazing. He made it very clear by this movie that he's not just an action star. The guy's got acting chops and I want to see him do more. So yeah, Knock at the Cabin, really understated horror with a real moral dilemma running through. Number 7 is something that surprises me. It's a horror comedy and it's totally killer. This is one I so did not expect to enjoy, but it does have a lot of similarities to one of my favourite movies, Back to the Future. So this is very much sort of like horror comedy, which for me is difficult, but I loved this. I found it funny. I found the characters likeable. I found the characters you're not meant to like loathable, if that's a word, loathsome. I loved the sort of like, yes, they copy Back to the Future, but they reference that. She does try to tell people in the past. It's like a time travel thing. And she's asking people, have you seen Back to the Future? Because she's trying to explain her situation. And, it's so much easier than trying to talk the whole thing through. Have you seen this movie? I just really enjoyed it. I thought it was really fresh, really fun, really lighthearted, easy to watch. So yeah, totally killer is my number 7. My number 6 is Evil Dead Rise. Who can forget that title card at the start? It was amazing. I've heard criticism leveled at this because there are no main male stars in it. I don't really look at a film and care whether there's men or women in it. It doesn't really, unless you're being really sexist for no reason, but this storyline just had women in. Let's just put it like that. That wasn't an issue for me. Obviously I'm female, maybe that's why it wasn't an issue for me, but I loved the performances. I absolutely adored the character of the main woman's sister that comes to stay. She was one of my favourite characters. The main thing that has to go out for this one is the sheer amount of blood and guts and gore in this is over the top fabulous. Some of the scenes is that horror fan's delight that makes you laugh. It's so gory. It's like, oh my god, they do something and it just makes you exclaim out loud or laugh out loud. If you're a horror fan, you will get that. If you're not, you will think people like us are sick. Yeah, fantastic, creepy, really enjoyed it. It's my number 6. So my number 5 is one that's got a lot of hype lately. It's When Evil Lurks. This is a foreign language movie. This overstepped a couple of boundaries that a lot of movie makers aren't quite so brave to overstep, where we have children involved. Don't worry, it's nothing really massively offensive, but people don't tend to like to hurt children in movies. This one goes against that. It is a real creepy sort of undertone. It felt like we were watching something quite new and innovative. It felt like something I would like to see a little bit more of. It just felt like I was watching something that wasn't a copy of anything else. It felt really new. I love the performances. I like the idea of the tradition behind things, like there's another word, it's not tradition, like the rotten that we discuss and the whole background of that and what it entails. I won't give you any idea of story if you haven't seen it, but like Evil Dead Rise, When Evil Lurks did not pull punches when it comes to the gore, which obviously delights gorehounds out there, which I would say I'm one of. So yeah, When Evil Lurks is in at number 5. Number 4 is a contentious one. Some people loved it, some people didn't, and it's No One Will Save You. This is the movie with absolutely no dialogue, I believe one line. Absolutely stunningly held together, and I've forgotten the actress's name, but I've loved her ever since I saw her in a TV sort of series years ago. She's fabulous in this. I love the aliens in this. I know some people didn't. So this is obviously an alien sort of like movie, an alien invasion movie. I don't feel I'm giving anything away because even the cover shows it. Loved it. Really tense. It reminded me of Signs, which is my favourite Shyamalan movie. It wasn't as good as Signs, but it was really, really interesting. Unlike others, I really liked the ending. I liked the idea of it. I did that thing where I googled what the ending of this to see if I was getting what they were trying to put across, which I had, and I really appreciated the ending of this one. The acting was on point, the cinematography was beautiful. If you can make me sit and watch this movie with no dialogue whatsoever in it, when I'm a person that loves conversation and dialogue, you're doing something right. So No One Will Save You is my number 4. Okay, so the top 3, guys. My number 3 is Thanksgiving. Now, I really back and forth with my 2 and 3. They really could be in either order because I love both. And my number 2, I will admit when I get it, is a biased one. But now number 3 is Thanksgiving. I'm not the biggest slasher fan in the world. It's just really hard to give you anything new with slashers. We've seen so many entries and so many franchises with slashers. I do like them if they're done well. I just feel most of them are really repetitious at this stage. We've seen so many, but Thanksgiving was new, it was fresh, it was frustrating. You hated some of the characters. They start off with the Black Friday sale and you just want to be in there punching all around you at these idiots. The gore in this was second to none. Some of the effects used in this, and if you've seen this movie, I'm not giving a spoiler here, the scene with the policeman in the car, kind of in the middle of this, I wanted, I was at the cinema clearly, I wanted to be able to pause it to look at it, to how the hell have they done this? Look at it. The effects are incredible. There's some really cringy scenes in this that make you want to look away. It's hilarious, and I don't find horror generally funny. I can do if it's done extremely well, but this one made me laugh out loud multiple times. I thought the dark humour was just perfect. I loved the ending of it with the Thanksgiving table. I just loved everything about this movie. I thought it was fabulous, and I cannot wait to see the second installment. So yeah, Thanksgiving is my number 3. So guys, my number 2, which could be interchangeable with number 3, and you will probably say, oh Lisa, your head's up your arse. It maybe is. My number 2 is Renfield. Renfield was my number 1 up until a few days ago. I say that because I've been waiting my entire life to see Nicolas Cage play Dracula. He was born to play this role. I love him. It's no secret I love Nicolas Cage. The movie, again, what is it with me this year in horror comedies? I normally hate them. It was funny. I loved the vivid colours in this movie. I loved the humour. I adored seeing Nicolas Cage as Dracula. The part at the beginning of this movie, the quite straight played black and white version, wow, I would love to see that movie with Nicolas Cage in it for real. I just loved it. I haven't a criticism. I know it wasn't for everyone. I know a lot of the effects were very much CG, but I just loved the vibrance of it. I loved the colours. I loved it. That's all I can say. I thought it was fabulous. I know not everyone will be to that level about this movie, but for me, it really ticked every box for me. So he's my number 2, Renfield. And my number 1, and I feel most people will have this on their top 10 list, an awful lot of people will have this at their number 1, is a movie that I saw at the cinema just a few days ago, and that is Godzilla -1. I was blown away by this. I wouldn't say I'm a fan of Godzilla. I will go see the movies, but like anything else, I'm not a massive follower. I heard a couple of people talk about this very, very glowingly. One of those was Elliot from IMO Reviews, who generally it takes a lot to impress, and he loved this, and I'm like, right, I have to get my arse to the cinema and I have to see this. So I trailed my husband and son along to the cinema to watch this one, and all of us were blown away. We loved it, everything about it, the effects. I was convinced it wasn't CG because to me it didn't look it. The monster himself, Godzilla, it looked like what Ray Harryhausen would be doing today if he were alive with the technology that exists. That's just the whole feeling that it summed up for me. The backstory in this that you watch of the humans is just, you cannot help but be reeled in by it. I'm telling you nothing because I want you to watch this with no idea of storyline. When you get to see Godzilla, and it is quite sparingly, which I like. I think I read that he's in 9% of the film. He's in 11 minutes of the entire movie. That's how they should do it. Too much ruins it. But when they do show him, there's no hiding him. You get full Godzilla, full on. You see everything. Everything about this movie is fabulous. The acting, the cinematography, the soundtrack is fabulous, the monster is fabulous. I absolutely loved it. I have no criticisms to level at Godzilla -1, and that's why it's my number 1 horror movie of 2023. So let me know below, guys, your thoughts on the horror movies this year. I know people are saying it was a great year for horror, it wasn't such a good. I don't think it was such a good year for horror. I do feel we got some horrors that were incredible, like Thanksgiving and like Godzilla -1. But I do feel, on the whole, it's been much harder to pick a top 10 in previous years than it was this year. We're sort of like picking movies that previously wouldn't have made our top 10 to sort of like fill them out. That's how I felt this year anyway. I wouldn't have expected to be putting a 3 out of 5 movie on my top 10, but I have in this case this year. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you're going to be doing a top 10. I look forward to watching it if so. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you in my next video, which will be my top 10 movies overall of 2023. Thanks for watching, guys. Over and out from Lisa Loves.